My name is Mav Turner, and I'm the Senior Director of Product Management at SolarWinds. I would advise Chief Information Security Officers to think about 4 things. Number 1, I think it's important to consider that they're going to be operating in a hybrid environment. And I mean this both in a legacy IT system way as well as modern applications and in a on-prem versus cloud. So we talked to a lot of customers that are starting up some cloud initiatives. We have some customers that are actively deployed to cloud. We've even gotten feedback from customers that have deployed to cloud, and because of some technical issues, they've actually come back on-prem. So I think when you're thinking about security, you have to think about these 2 natures of hybrid. You have to think about how you've deployed your information technology on-prem and in the cloud, and how you have both legacy systems and modern applications running side by side. Again, this introduces a lot of different threats and a lot of different opportunities, but you have to be thinking about the fact that you're going to be in this world for a very long time. Most organizations aren't going to flip 100% cloud, and certainly nobody is going to stay 100% on-prem. So if you're not thinking about what your organization will look like in 3 to 5 years from a cloud strategy perspective, then you're probably introducing some risk to your organization. Number 2 is an item that really is kind of common, but is still underinvested in, and that's training. The more that you have a solid program in place to actually have training and making sure your skills are kept up to date for your team, the more successful you'll be. A lot of organizations view training as a one-off, and they say, look, we're going to send you to class once a year for a week or once every 3 or 5 years. Unfortunately, training is a continuous initiative. It's something that needs to be baked into any program because the more technology changes and the faster it changes, the more out of date the skills of your team will be. So training is another key area that you need to be considering from a CISO perspective. 2 more items that I think are really important are having a complete inventory of your entire IT infrastructure. This is not only the physical equipment, but the virtual applications and software they're running and the actual people in your environment, right? So understanding what is in your environment, where it's at, how it's connected, what it needs access to, whether those are people needing access to applications or those are applications needing access to underlying data systems, data stores, other applications. All of these different systems and people are interconnected, and if you don't have a good view of that, then you won't be able to identify where the risks are in your environment. And the final item, number 4, is segmentation. I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but you have to segment your infrastructure. You have to understand what applications need access to what resources and ensure that only the minimal access is granted. And that way, if an application is behaving abnormally, it'll be very easy to spot, right? If an application tries to access another server that is not normally accessed and not required to deliver that application, it's very clear that something is going wrong. Now, whether that's a malicious action or whether it's just a operational issue, knowing when those events occur because you've segmented properly is key to maintaining security.